Last week, a gloriously stupid clip made the rounds of Fed Chair Jerome Powell giving a borderline incoherent answer, Kamala Harris level incoherent, to a softball question why 2% is the magic number on inflation. Unfortunately, Powell's answer was more devious than dumb. Here is an excerpt.
Why 2%? Why is getting it to 2% so important?
So that has become the globally agreed, essentially all major central banks target 2% inflation in one form or another.
How does that help my Nevada families? How does that help people in Nevada?
I'll tell you how it does. And it's I guess it's obviously not, it's not obvious how that is, but 2% inflation, to have people believe that inflation is going to go back to 2% really anchors inflation there.
Now, I've testified before Congress, and generally when the party that likes you asks you a question, it is a softball. And Cortez Mastro lobbed quite a gem, inviting him to showcase all the work the Fed does protecting the little guy. Yet Powell dodges, stem-winding about all central banks targeting 2%. When she pushed back with, yes, but what does 2% do for the people? Powell deployed the classic, why is it important? I'll tell you why it's important, which is what you say when you are buying time to think. Then his answer, because if Americans think it will be 2%, it will be 2%. I've mentioned in recent videos how the Fed thinks its job is psychological deception, or anchoring expectations in their lingo. But note that Powell did not actually answer the question. He said everybody does it, and he said if Americans believe it, it might just happen. But why 2%? Of course, we know why 2%, because that's the most he can steal without voters getting so angry that they put a leash on him. Other central bankers, of course, read the same user's manual. In other words, it's not some scientifically optimized economic tool. It is simply trial and error, the maximum theft the people will submissively accept. My favorite metaphor for this is a gasoline thief who siphons a gallon or two every couple days from his neighbors. The trick being, don't take too much at once. So what is this all costing us? Given M2 is about 21 trillion, 2% means a little over $400 billion a year the Fed siphons from you. Of course, it's much higher since the economy grows about 2% on its own. So economic growth means more stuff per dollar. So the dollar should actually get stronger, as it did in America before the Fed existed. This means the Fed isn't stealing $400 billion, it's stealing more like $800 billion. 400 in deflation you were owed for growing the economy, and another 400 at the gas pump and checkout line. For perspective, $800 billion is almost half what we pay in federal income taxes. And in this case, it is stolen right under our eyes. Final point, the Fed would dearly love to steal more. They've been pushing 3% inflation for years via pet economists like Paul Krugman. That would take them to about $8 trillion. In fact, that 3% campaign is actually ramping up. I've got a recent video on it, as regime economists gaslight Americans, telling them they must choose between recession and a bigger permanent siphon. The next time a member of Congress wonders how the Fed decides how much to print, I can save them some time. The Fed will take everything it can get, and it is the job of Congress to stop them. Okay, we'll be watching. See you next time.